Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr. Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. Hi, docs. Welcome to the EntreMD podcast, where it's all about helping amazing physicians just like you embrace entrepreneurship so you can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. I'm your host, Dr. Una. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the EntreMD podcast. As always, super pumped to be in your ears. And I am so excited about what we're going to talk about today, because we're going to talk about this concept of quote unquote, I'm just a doctor. I hear it a lot more with specialties like family medicine, pediatrics, internal medicine. I'm just a pediatrician and all of those kind of things. And we're going to look into that, because the way we think about ourselves, the way we talk about ourselves, the things we think are possible for us are such big limiters. They are caps on our potential. And we're going to totally dispel that. You're going to walk away from this episode on fire. Every time you hear that statement, just a doctor or just a pediatrician, you will be able to help somebody else completely change the narrative, because that's a lie. And we're unsubscribing from that lie today. Okay. Now, before we do that, I read a review from Dr. Christina Dewey. Big shout out to you, Doc. She is a relentless advocate for physicians, and she left an amazing review on Amazon for the EntreMD Method book. And so if you have not gotten your copy of the book yet, you want to head over to Amazon and do that. If you have not gotten copies for the doctors in your life, especially residents, then you want to head over to Amazon and do the same. And so this is what she says. She leaves those 5 beautiful stars that you know I love and says, want more? Take action and commit. And then she goes on to say, Dr. Una is the premier leader, storyteller, and inspiration for physicians wanting more. The EntreMD Method is the roadmap needed for you to live and create the life of which you've dreamed on your terms. Recognize your potential, dispel mindset myths, create new habits, overcome limiting beliefs, and believe in your entrepreneurial skills and abilities. We can do hard things. We made it through decades of training to become physicians. Let's multiply and amplify our reach to serve those needing our expertise through entrepreneurship, creating exponential impact, and earning for our efforts. We are the Calvary. Thank you so much for that amazing review, Dr. Christina. You absolutely rock. And every time a review goes up, it helps us get the word out. It helps us because Amazon recommends the book to more people. And, this is how we change medicine. We have played the victim for long enough, but we've decided to take matters into our own hands and change it. Okay. So let's get to this just a doctor thing. Okay. I'm just a doctor. Some people say it, some people think it. And I'm going to point out why there is nothing just about that. And I want to help you change the way you think about that and help others change the way they think about it as well. Okay. And I want to start off by saying this, doctors, we hang out with ourselves a lot. And so what that does is it normalizes the fact that we're physicians. And so when you're in a room of unicorns, you don't really recognize that you're a unicorn, right? So it's like, oh, I'm just a pediatrician or I'm just a this. And no, we're not going to do that anymore. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's look at the facts on the ground. Okay. So that's a statement. That's a thought. We're going to put it on trial. We're going to look at the actual truth. Okay. So let's start off with this. You as a teenager or a young adult, you decided to do the impossible. Okay. So that's number one. You decided as a teenager or younger adult, you decided that you were going to do the impossible. You decided that you were going to become a physician. And you're like, well, it's not impossible. Well, maybe not, but the overall acceptance rate into medical school is 7%. Many of the schools are 1% to 3%. In fact, you can go Google for your school what the acceptance rate is. Think about 3%. That means 97% of the people who apply don't get in. And of all the things in this world to do, that's what you decided to do. At that young age, you just decided that's the kind of thing I do, right? So for every 100, only 3 are going to get in. I'm going to be one of the 3. That was your decision. It is a very unique and special person who will do that. It is not everybody. Okay. It is not everybody. There's nothing just there. Nothing just. You are amazing. You are phenomenal. You are very committed to achieving your life goals and all of that. You're ridiculously amazing. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're committed, because saying that you're going to do something is one thing. Going through with it, especially in our case where the cost for it is multiple 6 figures for the education and over a decade of your life. You are so committed that you gave up at least a decade of your life to become a physician, and you paid multiple 6 figures for said medical education. And this is without a guarantee of success, because there are people who started on the journey who did not complete the journey. But you were committed, even though you knew the possibility of not going through all the way was there. That's the kind of person that you are. Again, you're amazing. You're phenomenal. You're a rock star. Okay. You are committed. And I want you to think about other aspects of your life where you're like, oh, I'm not a committed person. I'm not a consistent person. You have evidence to the contrary. Okay. So that's the second thing. The third thing is that you actually did it. You set out, you decide, okay, I'm going to pay, I'm committed enough, I'm going to pay the price. And you went through it and you got it done. You completed it. You did, the high school to get the good grades to get into pre-med, and you got the good grades to get into med school, and you did well in medical school, got into residency, went through that grueling training, and you came out on the other side. There is nothing just about you. And it doesn't matter what your specialty is. There is nothing just about you. Okay. Number 4, I'm just a doctor. I'm just a pediatrician. I'm just a psychiatrist. Okay. Hear this. Okay. The American population is 331 million people. 331 million people. And out of the 331 million people, there are 1 million physicians. 1 million. And so I want you to think about this, right? I want you to think about you being in a room with 330 people. Just think about it. Just indulge me with the visual, okay? You're in a room, 300 people. So you may have been in a meeting with 300 people. You may have been in a meeting with 50 people. So imagine 66 times that. Or you may have been, in a meeting with 10 people. Imagine 30 times that. And they're like, is there a physician in the room? Right? For every 300 people, there's one physician. For every 300 people gathered, there's one physician. And you, my friend, are the one. You're the one. So again, there's nothing just about that at all. All right. Okay. That's number 4. Number 5. Number 5 is that you save lives. I want you to think about it. It doesn't matter your specialty. You save lives. So there are people who do surgeries to save lives. There are people who give chemotherapy and all of that to save lives. There are pediatricians who instill the right habits in the young people early, right? And save lives that way. They run the vaccines and save lives that way. The psychiatrists, I want you to imagine with mental health, think about the ripple effect of it, right? Think about the pain and suffering in the patient and the pain and suffering in the family and all of that. You fix that. Like you want to sit and think about the ripple effect of what you do. Think about it. You're a pediatrician, you put the right habits in somebody, for all you know, you broke something that was generational where everybody has hypertension, everybody has diabetes, and everybody's overweight. And you were able to turn that around. Or you diagnosed something so early that the child had a chance at thriving. You did that. This is what you do. You save lives. Your work matters. It matters. Anybody can tell you anything they want to tell you. Medicare can decide that your thinking is not valuable enough and they'll only use it for procedures. I'm talking to primary care docs now. It doesn't change what you do. It doesn't change the value of what you do. They may not value you, but please do not join them in devaluing yourself. You are not just. Okay. All right. Number 6. So number 6 is this. It's one of my favorite things. Okay. Please hear me. You went through a rigorous training program that has set you up to be successful at anything you're wired for. Please hear me. You may be saying, because a lot of times people in primary care, well, I'm just primary care. It just sucks. I'm making less than 6 figures and all of that stuff. Please hear me. Please hear me. What you need to thrive, you can learn it. Okay. You have gone through, like your medical education may have not come with a business education. Mine didn't. Okay. But we have gone through a program that has set us up to be successful in anything we do. So for instance, let me use entrepreneurship. Okay. Let me use entrepreneurship as an example. Please hear me. Please hear me. You may say, whatever specialty you are, there is something that is the great equalizer, and that is entrepreneurship. Okay. It is beautiful because it takes the cap off. It takes the lids off. You can now decide how much you want to earn. You can decide the way you want to practice. You take the reins back. Okay. Now, we did not get a business education with our medical training, but we were set up to be able to acquire it. So let me tell you what I mean by that. As a physician, okay, you have no problem learning. So what do you need for a business education? Learning. We're good at it. We have the habit of learning to do. Okay. If you think about it, you would learn about a spinal tap, then do a spinal tap. Learn about a circumcision, then do the circumcision. Learn about anything, any of the concepts in medicine. It's a learn and do. It's a learn and do. Now, guess what the most successful entrepreneurs do? They don't learn to learn. They learn to do. You know about delayed gratification. It took you over a decade to become a physician. So you have the patience and the resilience to work a business until it works. Now, it's not going to take 10 years. But my point is, you have the resilience. You can stand. You can weather storms. You're good at that stuff. You know about investing in yourself. You invested multiple 6 figures without even knowing that you'll finally end up becoming a doctor. Right? But you were like, I am willing to invest this much to become a doctor. And guess what you're going to need to do if you want to become a great entrepreneur? You are going to invest in your personal and business development. You're going to invest. So doctors would invest because they've done it before and they understand the return on investment of it. You've been set up to succeed. Don't believe the lie. You have. So maybe you still have heard this narrative or maybe even subscribe to the narrative that, physicians are not great entrepreneurs. That is a lie. It is a lie. You became a physician by putting yourself through a program, by putting yourself through medical school, by going through training. You can become a great entrepreneur as well. You were not born a doctor. So what does it mean you're not a good entrepreneur? What does that even mean? It doesn't even make any sense. That's like someone saying to a 5-year-old, you're not a good doctor. What does that mean? I'll go to medical school and I'll become a good doctor. You went through a training program that sets you up to acquire anything you need. It sets you up to be successful at whatever your next step is. It has set you up. And so it's not a disadvantage. It's an advantage. Okay. So you're not just, my friend, you are a unicorn. You are special. You are different. You have what it takes to succeed. Don't subscribe to the lie that you are just, especially if you are primary care. Don't subscribe to that anymore. You are not just a pediatrician or just a psychiatrist or just, no. You're a physician. You are special. You are unique. And whatever it is that's been in your heart, the way you want to practice medicine, the change you want to make in the world, the difference you want to create in the world, you can do it. You can do it. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to accept who you are, because everything I told you is a fact. It's not like you being just a doctor. That's totally made up. There's no evidence to support that. There is nothing just about that. Right? But everything else I've shown you, the 6 things I've shown you, they're facts. And so are you going to agree with the facts, or are you going to believe the lie? Right? I want you to take this episode and I want you to join me on the war against this philosophy that we've been sold. Like, how do you reduce somebody who's so brilliant and so gifted and so talented and has such a strong work ethic and is so committed to being, to helping in the world, to someone who believes they're just, quote unquote, a doctor? So I want you to join me on the war against that. And I want you to take this episode, I want you to share it with every doctor, every doctor, and say, hey, I want you to listen to this, right? Because we as a community need to unsubscribe from the lie. Unsubscribe. Like, no, we don't talk like that. We don't think like that. We're amazing. And this is not about pride, because saying I'm just a doctor isn't humility either. That's not humility. That's fake humility. That's false humility. That's degrading oneself. Like, no. If you're great, it's not your fault. You're great. And you can own who you are and still be humble. So from today, we're going to own who we are. Take this episode, share it with another doc. Okay. And if you've been feeling like, I'm just a doc and it's occurring to you that you're not, and you're like, okay, I want to embrace this entrepreneurship thing like I mean it. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. This is what we do. And we don't talk just doctor. We are trying to build businesses, brands and businesses that will have profound impact doing exactly what we want it to do, whether that's a private practice or as a coach or it's a product or whatever it is, or other kind of service, and earn, right? We believe in serving and earning. And then you can totally unsubscribe from that. You're not just, my friend. You're not. Okay? So I want you to think about this, right? I want you to think about you share and someone else listens and shares and someone else listens and shares. And we have 100,000 physicians unsubscribe from this lie that we were sold, that we are just. I want you to think about the ripple effect of that. Doctors who know their value, doctors who know what they can create, doctors who take matters into their own hands, taking back medicine. We can do it. It all starts with you sharing this episode. So share it. And I can't wait to see what we all do with this. And I will see you, my friend, on the next episode of the EntreMD podcast. Hey, if you love listening to the EntreMD podcast, I want to invite you to join EntreMD On Demand. It is my signature subscription program that gives you access to a library of business courses designed to help you do one thing as a physician entrepreneur, and that is to thrive. Just head out to entremd.com/on-demand, and I'd love to have you join us. See you on the inside.